Shalom, it is February 20th. It is day 503 of the war in Israel. Yediot Ahronot newspaper reads, Pe'imat HaChalalim, the phase of the dead, of the corpse. Chalalim literally means space. Chalal means space. And a war corpse, someone that was killed in war in Israel is called a chalal. So there's a double meaning there because they leave a space in one's heart. Ha'ke'ev, ha'za'am, hayagon. The pain, the fury, the rage, and the yagon. Yagon is agony. In Israel, we are receiving 4 slain hostages that were murdered in Gaza. And since October 7th, it reads, all of the world followed the destiny of Shiri Bibas, her younger son Ariel, and her baby Kfir. 3 weeks since the father Yarden was returned and released from captivity, from hell, it says there. Irgun HaTeror HaAchzari, the cruel terror organization, claimed yesterday the mother and her 2 children are expected to be transferred or handed over to the Red Cross today. In the family is still waiting for the final identification that will happen in Israel. Together with the Bibas family, the mother and the 2 kids, Oded Lifshitz will be coming back in a coffin as well. The first opinion article, Hayom, today, Haptsaim ipatchu mechadash. The wounds will be opened again. And Chen Artz Yisrael, the author here, is writing that the return of the live hostages from the other phases was like fresh and cold water on a tired spirit. But today, the return of the chalalim, of the dead ones that were killed in war, will raise again the questions: what happened? Where were they? What did they understand? What did they dream about? Where was the country? Where was the military? I'm continuing. When the 4 coffins will be handed over to the IDF, the land will be covered with a dmama kveda. Dmama means silence. Kveda is heavy, heavy silence. And today, really, people feel like this is a national mourning day. Events have been canceled. Concerts, music is different, very, very quiet on the radio. It is a very heavy silence in Israel right now. Shiri veyeladea hajinjim, Shiri and her Gingy kids, Gingy is like redhead, shehafchu le'echad ha'smalim, that turned to one of the symbols of achzariyut Hamas, of the cruelty of Hamas. They'll be returned today as chalalim, as dead bodies, and with them Oded Lifshitz. Hamishpacha shenichnasa lalev shel kulanu, the family that entered the heart of us all. More than 500 days, a whole nation prayed for the return of the Bibas family from captivity. Even the father Yarden that was released 3 weeks ago, he says he's waiting for his beloved ones, even though there was heavy concern for their lives. Yesterday, all of the hopes were demolished with a formal hoda'ah, with a formal announcement from Hamas that Shiri, Ariel, and Kfir Bibas will be coming back in the phase of the dead, Pe'imat HaChalalim. Here's Yarden and Shiri, Ariel and Kfir in better days. Here it is in the moment of kidnapping. Shiri is holding her 2 Gingy, red-headed kids. Siyut lo metziyuti, a nightmare that's unrealistic. And it reads here that Kfir was kidnapped from his home when he was only 9 months old. Kfir is the youngest one. And in 18th of January 2024, all over the country and all over the world, they marked Kfir's 1-year birthday. And it was titled the saddest birthday in the world. Here it is, Kfir Bibas with mini orange balloons. Yom HaHuledet HaAtzuv Ba'olam, the saddest birthday in the world for Kfir, 1-year-old. Now the 4th corpse, the 4th halal, is Oded Lifshitz, married to Yocheved Lifshitz. Here she is. She was also kidnapped on October 7th, and she was released in one of the first phases. Oded, like Yocheved, they hoped he was alive. They hoped for a different ending. His family hoped, but he's returning in a coffin. He was a Pa'il Shalom, a peace activist, And he was one of the founders of the kibbutz Nir Oz, and he's returning in the phases of the dead, Bepeimat HaChalalim. Oded Lifshitz, from the seniors of Nir Oz, was kidnapped on October 7th from the entrance of his house. And I continue what I said. Ishto Yocheved, his wife Yocheved, was released from captivity a few weeks afterwards. And his family members did not stop fighting for his return. His son Izhar says he ended his life in a very tragic way, which is lo ra'oi, it's inappropriate, it's despisable. Daniel, the grandson, says, my grandfather came to Nir Oz in the year 1956. The kibbutz was his life project, Mif'al Chaim. Oded was a peace activist that drove Palestinians from Gaza that were sick with cancer, that were cancer patients, and he would drive them from Gaza to get better treatment in the hospitals in Israel. He's a father of 4 children and a grandfather of 10 grandchildren and even 1 great-granddaughter. What else can we say? May their memory be blessed. And when you remember Israel in prayer, remember the emotional state that so many families are in right now, for many, many actually months and years that will come. The next headline, Ha'pe'ima ha'atzuva, the sad phase. So if the other article was specifically about the Bibas family and Oded Lifshitz, this is more general about the handover and how sad this day is. It's called Yemama Metaltelet, a shaking day. The preparations of the IDF and of the Medical Forensic Institute to receive the 4 slain hostages, the Chalalim, that will be returning back to Israel. These are the first 4 slain hostages that Israel receives from the beginning of this stage of the hostage exchange deal with prisoners. In the image, we see the Red Cross vehicles in which the slain hostages will be delivered to from the hands of Hamas. They'll be coming back for proper burial in Israel, it says here. And this is how it happens. The first stage, Hamas transfers the hostages to the Red Cross. The second stage is that the Red Cross joins the IDF forces still in Retzuat Aza, in the Gaza Strip. The third stage is the ceremony that the IDF will conduct with the coffins of the hostages wrapped up in the flag of Israel. The fourth stage is that military vehicles will transfer these coffins to the Forensic Medical Institute in Abu Kabir. And the fifth stage is the Halich Zihu, it's the identification process and investigating the reason for their death. Now that the handover has happened, we know it was in a stage and a site with hundreds of gunmen and women and children and prisoners that were released in the other phases, celebrating this, very propaganda, very festive, very cynical, having the prisoners that were released in this, what you call it, ceremony or party of releasing the slain hostages. Now, Israel does not act like that. Next, 602 mechablim, terrorists, will be released this week. 110 of them were sentenced for life sentences, continuous life sentences, much more than just one. Hasimcha al shichrur hachatufim hi ein sofit. The joy of the release of the hostages is ein sofi, meaning it's no end to the joy, but also the pain has no end. Ari Fold was killed in 2018 in the entrance of a mall. He was killed by a terrorist. His brother says, they did not speak to us. We learned about the release of his murderer just through the media. Together with Ari Fold's murderer, 601 more Asirim Palestinian prisoners will be released from the jails of Israel. Amongst the terrorists that are released is Bilal Abu Ghanem. He's supposed to be staying in jail for 3 life sentences because a terror attack he did in 2015 with many Israelis that were killed in a bus in 78 line in Jerusalem. Another prisoner that will be released is Omer Alzban Shanidon. He was sentenced for 27 life sentences and 25 years more in jail. He's arrested for already 19 years. That's how dangerous he is. He's one of the heads of the El Qassam battalions, which is the military arm of Hamas, and he's been released. He is in charge of the death of 27 Israelis, civilians, innocent civilians. The biggest pain for the release of the murderer of my brother Ari, says his brother, is not only the pain of injustice, it's not only the pain that he ruined a whole family, it is mainly for the pain for the families that will suffer from his release, from the massive release of all of these prisoners. May God have mercy and protect Israel. Thank you for standing with us. Thank you for praying for Israel. This is really another type of national mourning day in Israel, where it's very heavy, very, very quiet. If you do like this video, please like it and share it with your friends and family, and more people will know about what's happening really in Israel. For more meaningful news, go to allisrael.com and follow us on our social media. I'm Rotem again for All Israel News.